My 40 for the week, it's not that bold, I got to admit, but I'm going Witten for a touchdown. I mean, I got to get in the win column. I got to get in the right column once.
Here comes Cooper in motion to the left. Play fake, bootleg to the right. Throwing back to Witten at the 2, and it's an easy walk-in. Touchdown, Jason Witten.
The Bills come crashing in with Shaq Lawson.
47 yards to make it a one-score game from Maher. He missed that to the right. He missed it to the right.
Oh, my gosh.
It is intercepted.
Say it isn't so.
Juggled and then picked up by the Bills.
I mean, this is bad. There's nothing good about it. It was horrible. This is dispiriting. This will hurt your feelings.
Yes.
You hate to see it. That's what we remember from Thanksgiving. Happy Monday morning, guys.
Tried my best to get that out of my mind.
If you
Wait, so me and Barry are getting stuff right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, shouts out.
We're in the
Linz,
W column.
we gotta catch up. We
It's
gotta
not
step it up.
translating- It's not translating to wins.
Right?
We're getting stuff right.
This is true.
This is what we're looking at. Barry was right
Okay.
early on in the game. Everything went wrong, but as the weekend wore on, some other things went wrong in the NFC East as well. We're going to talk about it.
Everything went wrong in the NFC.
But did everything go right
Yeah.
for the Cowboys?
No, you're right.
Hanging on.
Way to go.
Any
NFC
more
sucks.
thoughts that you want to throw out about the Bills game as we move on to this Chicago short week?
I guess we should, but does anybody really want to? It
Well,
was-
it's our job. We
I
need
know.
to touch on it,
It was
David.
4 days ago.
Yeah, and I think it was 2 weeks ago we were talking about a team meeting where they were rallying together, they were talking about it, and we thought maybe that could be a turning point for the season. It doesn't look like that is the case as it stands right now. I know we're going to talk about Michael Bennett, but this team needs some sort of turning point, right? I mean, now they're practicing outdoors today. It's technically a Thursday practice outdoors.
That's true.
They started so well in this game. That's what they haven't done well all year. And after such a hot start, both sides of the ball played great for about the first quarter and a half. And then it just became the Bills show, man.
Will the Cowboys bounce back on Thursday in Chicago?
Yeah, hopefully they will. I mean, I'm saying they will. Trubisky's terrible, but you never know what you're going to get with this defense. So
You know what's funny though, Barry? The Bears are also 6-6, same 3-3 home and away
True.
record. They mirror the Cowboys right now. And when you look at Chicago from the outside, you think, wow, what a team struggling, what a quarterback struggling. Cowboys have the exact same record as them.
I know.
How does that make us feel?
It makes me scared that they have to travel up there. I wish they didn't have to travel up to Soldier Field.
it's going to be burned.
I mean,
It's 41 degrees though, Dave, so you'll
the
be
weather
just fine.
The weather's going to be fine. I'm really, as far as December games in Chicago go, I don't think that's going to be a big deal. But Lindsay said, do we think they can bounce back? And I'm just like, what evidence do we have to suggest that they will?
What evidence?
That's right. Let's get into the news. Obviously, it's out by now. Connor Williams, torn ACL, out for the season. Zach Martin said yesterday in the locker room, I'm so bummed because he really was putting a good season together. And Xavier Su'a-Filo, all these guys they have, Joe Looney, they have faith in these guys. But how big is this for the Cowboys offense?
I mean, first of all, they can survive it. Xavier Su'a-Filo, he's a veteran player. He's a good player. But I feel like Connor Williams got dogged probably a little too harshly at times. The questions are about his strength. He's the young guy on the line. I don't think it's a coincidence that Dak got strip sacked 2 snaps after Connor left this game. I think he was having a good season. It's a bummer for him. I thought he took a little bit too much criticism. But the depth on the line, Xavier Su'a-Filo, they signed Caleb Benenoch over the weekend.
Well.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's hard. Yeah,
I think they can survive, is my point.
Caleb was a starter all last year for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He started 16 games, but why is he a free agent right now? And that might be because he's not the greatest, which you get when you have O-line depth. But yes, I'm a little bit concerned. You're right, Lindsay. 4 games left for this team. You want your O-line to have that consistency. I mean, Barry, you know how important that is.
It's very important. Dak Prescott needs it. You know, they need to be protected during the offensive line, but I think they'll be just fine with Su'a-Filo in there. And if Beninock, did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Beninock
you got
comes
it.
in, I think they'll be just fine.
Which, I mean, that's so Beninock, Xavier, throw in Joe Looney for good measure. You got 3 backups with starting experience. I mean, I feel terrible for Connor, but I think they can weather this.
More news from the Star yesterday. We are walking over to locker room, and 3 kickers walk out to the field for their tryout with the Cowboys. No names were signed, but obviously the media rushed up to talk to Brett Maher. It all just felt really weird because he's 67% this season. Yeah, like 19 of 28. We saw what happened on Thanksgiving.
35-yard miss.
Here's my thought on this. They didn't sign anyone yesterday, right? So do we think it's coming this week or probably not?
Well, if it didn't happen yesterday, it's not going to happen until the Bears game.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what does that tell you? They're like, we feel really good about Brett. Unless he goes out and misses any more kicks in Chicago, then we don't feel so good.
And the only name I really knew from those 3 was Nick Rose. He's been kind of a journeyman player around the league. I think he went to Texas, so he's familiar with this territory.
He actually played at Highland Park as well.
But yeah, and I mean, this team is struggling with field goals. There's no doubt about it. They're number 29 in the league with teams like Giants, Jets, and Titans following.
What this tells me, and for all the fans earlier on in the season who wanted a new kicker, was, okay, now we've gotten to a chance of desperation. We bring guys in to work them out, and they don't work out. I'm thinking that if there was a solution, they would have hit it earlier on in the season. It's like there's really no solution that we have. I promise you, we had our eye looking around. That's why they've had to stick with Brett Maher. They don't have any options.
I legitimately believe there aren't a lot of better options. You could argue there were some older guys available earlier in the season.
Right.
Young Hoku was out there. Kai Forbath just got signed by the Patriots. Like, there were guys.
He missed yesterday.
He did. From close range, too.
Indoors,
too. It's rough out there for kickers, man. And, yeah, if I were the Cowboys, this is something I would try to address in the offseason. Honestly, if Brett struggles down the stretch, then you know that you've worked out some guys. But I think you're just going to have to grin and bear it with a pretty bad kicker situation.
He can come through later on.
The offseason storyline.
Yeah, there it is.
So we go to the locker room yesterday, and guys, it seems like these players, I don't want to say are running out of excuses, but maybe keywords. We've had the slow starts, we've had execution. Here's what they had to say now being 6-6 on the season with 4 games to play.
Yeah, angry. Just angry that we're not where we expect ourselves to be, and just angry that things haven't been going the way that we want them to go. So, I mean, we just got to channel that the right way. Come in like we did today, go to work, and just trust the process, and go out there and play better football.
How was practice today?
Practice was good. Great energy. Guys were on the stuff. Guys had a little stuff in their neck, and it was a little chippy, and ready to go.
Well, I mean, no one's happy, that's for sure. I don't think anyone's happy to be sitting where we're at right now, but like I said, we're very aware that it's right there in front of us, and if we take care of business, we'll be where we want to be.
We talk about bringing in the right kind of guys and having strong leadership in the locker room and having good people, because then when you face adversity and you get in a situation like this, you're not easily going to just go away. You're going to step up and face that challenge, and I think our team does that.
Travis Frederick said yesterday that he thinks this team is built for the backs against the wall scenarios, which it's kind of, you don't want to hear anybody say that, but he said, here's what I mean. We have the leaders, we have the veterans, we have the guys with the right type of attitudes that can come out of a hole like this when your back's against the wall, but it shouldn't really be there, I thought.
It shouldn't be there, and Zeke said it later in the locker room time about peaking at the right time. You have 4 games left. I hope you peak right now. Go on that tear. You get the 2 NFC wins, and then you have the big NFC East showdown. This is the time to peak.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, nobody's more frustrated than they are. That's Zeke said it yesterday. I thought it was a great quote. He was like, look, I'll tell you what's wrong. We're not playing good football. And
but how do you turn that around?
I have no idea, and we've been talking about it for 2 months. I was going to say I'm frustrated because we're all tired of saying the same thing, right? And I know that they are. They're not playing good football. They have a month to figure it out. For the millionth time, I think they can, but we have 12 weeks of evidence to suggest that maybe they won't.
It's been very inconsistent. Obviously, after the game, there were some words being shared. How many locker room instances did you have, like with the Michael Bennett, where you could hear him outside the locker room This is some of the things that he said. He shared with members of the media, if you want to take a look at that. But basically, it's a little come to Jesus meeting.
Yeah, I'm not a big advocate of this, though. I mean, where was all that smoke when, Josh Allen was running down the sidelines or Cole Beasley was looking like Wes Welker out there? I mean, you got to have some type of, energy and stuff like that on the field. Like, don't take it out of the field and say, oh, we got to be this, we got to be that. Like, no, you should have been having that same energy on the field versus the Bills. It wasn't there. You guys got trounced.
Is this a sign of frustration?
Oh, yeah.
When people snap like this?
Exactly. And especially if you've seen your team struggling, you're not doing nothing to kind of help them get out of that slump. I mean, it's a sign of frustration.
If he had 5 sacks on the day, that would have been a different story.
I don't think
Is there any way that something like this could go wrong? Backfire?
Well, it could.
Divide the locker room?
It could. If he says all this rah-rah and then goes next week and lays an egg, it could backfire.
If you had to guess, how often do speeches like that happen in an NFL locker room?
I would say,
from your experience.
From my experience, it happens at least 2 or 3 times a year.
Okay.
Especially the bad losses, it happens.
Like yelling matches.
Yeah,
that was going to be my point. So thank you. The other thing, we saw Zeke talking about chippy practice. Dallas media is kind of trying to run with that as some crazy storyline. That happens all the time.
Yeah.
Speeches happen all the time. Guys get in toughs at practice, fights at practice. We saw, if you watched All or Nothing 2 years ago, you saw Jordan Lewis and Des Bryant get after it. It happens. And I think it's people grasping at straws trying to turn it into a storyline about, they're trying to turn it around or whatever.
Yeah,
these are just things that happen in NFL locker rooms.
Let's take a look around the league at what happened this weekend while the Cowboys were off. They were practicing, though. They weren't watching any of these games. All right, 37-31 final from Miami. Fitz magic. Cowboys fans, are you thanking him or are you just annoyed altogether?
I think Cowboys fans are annoyed. But if you're going to ride this thing out for the final month, which Jerry Jones said they are, they're not making a coaching change, you might as well give it a shot in the playoffs, and the Dolphins helped to make it that much easier.
They did.
Well, if I'm the special teams coordinator, and I'm not for the Cowboys, I would say let's do something crazy with Chris Jones and Brett Maher. We have nothing to lose. You saw it work for the Dolphins.
That was
Let's
amazing.
go make it happen because this Eagles team obviously can't cover. Their secondary is just
terrible.
Very bad.
If you make it to the Super Bowl and you got to maybe face one of, these teams on the way, what are you thinking? Lamar Jackson, he is untouchable right now.
Cowboy fans don't want to hear it. I'm just maybe they'll get into the playoffs because the Eagles are bad, and they're like, great, so we can play the 49ers. That sounds fun.
You gotta have some positive views on it. Oh my God.
All you gotta do is get into the
Any
tournament,
given
baby.
Sunday, look at the Bengals and the Jets.
People aren't believing, Barry.
At all.
It's
It's amazing.
This looks like a Super Bowl preview, honestly.
It did.
So when you say this is amazing, you can't understand why Cowboys fans would think this way.
Oh.
Is it because as a player you feel like this? You feel like the SWAT team, like you can turn around at any time?
Anytime, any moment. And I mean, the fans got to have some type of positivity going forward. You're still in first place. You still have a chance.
Throwing in the back.
They've seen enough.
Any idea how brave you have to be to dress up like that for a game, knowing that you will be mocked for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
Beyond belief.
If you don't win. And nobody's going to talk about it after today. Nobody's going to mention it again because they won the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank goodness.
Deshaun
Maybe
Watson.
this team needs that. Maybe they need to go dress up. The Hot Boys need to get hot again.
Never.
That's risque.
It would never.
The internet would blow up.
Internet would blow up.
The Patriots looked really pedestrian, and all of the internet is ready to say that their era is over, which means they're going to win the Super Bowl again.
Question
That's
for you
what
guys.
It happened last year.
Do you think
Alabama.
the Cowboys game against the Patriots would have looked like this indoors? This happened before the Bills game. Don't think about the Bills.
The Cowboys would have scored a touchdown for sure.
Yeah.
I don't.
You don't think it would have looked like that?
I don't think they would have won. No.
You don't think they would have beat the
Their
Patriots
defense
indoors?
was doing too many different things. I liked what the Texans
I think they
did.
would
I love what they did against
I
Alabama.
think they would
Oh,
have
that was awesome.
I'm all about benefit of the doubt and why do they deserve the benefit of the doubt. The Patriots are a good team. The
Dave's
Texans
like,
are a
"Not
really good
today."
team. Yeah, not today. Thank you.
Sit
They would have
down.
lost regardless.
I think they would have lost.
Oh, because
It's
their
a
defense got
dub
fixed.
indoors on a long week of rest. Let's talk social moments. Did you watch the Auburn game?
I did. Yes.
Take us through what was happening post game then.
Everything
This
happened.
would be me. This would literally be me.
What is going
Moms
on?
are storming the
They
field, Barry.
they put a 15-foot hedge around the
me.
field and it didn't stop anybody. Honestly,
Look
we're doing a great disservice to maybe the best football game of the year.
That leap though, that guy
broad
just
jump?
leaped.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Is that Byron Jones? Is Byron Jones out there?
This game had 2
Oh,
pick
that's
sixes.
impressive. Ankles were broken.
Waddle, the Bama
never
receiver,
heard from
four
again.
touchdowns.
She disappeared.
All anybody cares about is the
Okay.
man.
This was
awesome.
dope.
Take me through it.
This was dope.
So Josh Butler, Michigan State cornerback, he lost both of his parents during college. So Michigan State let him bring his doggos to senior day.
Like,
Like,
this
it's the best.
is where I petition that all sports teams should have
Oh my
therapy
God.
dogs.
This is,
I mean,
this was the one that really slayed me.
They're so
this was after the game. They beat Maryland. They got to a bowl game to end the season.
they're so cute.
I can't
That
even
one-
talk
Is he
about
from
it.
Texas too?
I honestly don't know.
Well,
but
Josh Butler, you're
Ghost
welcome
party.
anytime.
Another great moment with James Conner. Apparently, a fan who'd been suffering from cancer tweeted him and said, "Hey, can you like meet up with us?" And he embraced them completely with
So
open
good.
arms.
Great sports moment, right?
Full on tears just to talk. I mean, love James Conner for this.
You know what's really
Love.
what's cool is like for a while James Conner was the running back with cancer, and now he's just a badass running back. Obviously, like it's still an important part of his story, and that's cool that he gave back to those guys. But like, you don't talk about it as much as you used to. You know, like he overcame it to the point where it's not the first thing you think about, which I think is really cool.
That's
amazing.
awesome. That is awesome.
Monday show, that's a wrap, my guys.
Hey,
We did
Super
it.
quick.
good.
It's a short week again. So today is a Thursday for the Cowboys?
it's not a short week because the game was on Thursday. It's
Will
just
you
a
be
weird-
leaving town on Wednesday?
I will be leaving town.
Okay,
on
that's
Wednesday.
what I thought.
We have a show on Wednesday?
Do we have a show? I don't know. Y'all figure that out.
TBD. We'll
Y'all
see you
figure that
tomorrow,
out.
though, 9:20. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.